Did you know that there are simple psychology tricks that you can use to connect with people faster and even influence outcomes in your favor? Well, there are, and sometimes there may be people that are doing them to you and you don't even realize. Today, I'm going to be breaking down 10 psychology hacks for you to achieve what you want. Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm glad that you are here. Before we continue, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button, join the family, and check out the links in the description below. You'll find things like my audio podcast, Highest and Best, my vlog channel, and all of that good stuff. All right, if you are ready to learn about these psychology hacks, then just keep on listening. Number one is the silent power play. Now, oftentimes when people are in conversations, when they're in meetings, when they're in a negotiation and things are quiet, people automatically feel the need to fill the space. However, there is power in the silence. There's actually a phrase that says, whoever speaks first loses. Now, this often comes into play with business. I personally learned this probably about 10 years ago when I started in the sales industry, because when you are in a negotiation or you're pitching something in your sales script and you get to the point that you typically list the price, you say what it is, you make your presentation, and then you are quiet. You do not say anything else. And that is because it encourages the other person to speak what is on their mind. You'll also find that when you're in conversation with certain people, that when you are silent, it encourages the other person to share more. It can feel a little bit awkward. It can make you feel uncomfortable, but there is power in that silence. Another way that you can use a silent power play is in conversation. Now, this can be when somebody asks you a question, you then take a moment to pause, to gather your thoughts, collect what you're going to say, and then say it. It allows for you to have better decision making and also be able to phrase what you want to say in a more concise way. The second psychology hack is called cognitive dissonance. In summary, this is where our actions do not align with our beliefs, and it makes our brains feel uncomfortable. One great way to understand how this works is actually called the meat paradox, and that is whereby people claim to love animals, but then still continue to eat meat. It's when our beliefs don't align with what we're actually doing. The way to leverage this is to prime a person to remind them who they are to ensure that their behaviors align. Now, some people use this in a very manipulative way, but we are not doing that here. I will give you an example on how I just used this recently. When I scuffed the rim on my new car, I said to my husband, look, I know you value honesty, and so I'm gonna tell you what happened. Now, to be fair, it was not my fault. Somebody pulled out. They were hitting either the front of my car or I was swerving and scuffing my rim. So I think I chose the better option, but I primed him by saying, look, I know you value honesty. I know you appreciate when I tell you the truth. And so this happened. And so when he responds, he says, look, I appreciate you telling me this. I appreciate your honesty. And he was just glad that I was safe. So good husband points for him. But that is a good example on how you can prime someone to remind them who they are to ensure that their behaviors align. Number three is called the pratfall effect. Now, this is where somebody who is highly competent tends to be liked more when they make a small mistake. Now, in its essence, I see this as authenticity, and it shows a lot when people create content, because content creators are putting out what their highlight reel is, their finished product. And so when you see a mistake or you see the behind the scenes of something happening or what's actually going on, you often tend to like them more because you're seeing them be human. That is why I love when my editors go and make me a blooper reel, because it shows people that yes, you see the finished, final, polished product, but what actually goes on behind the camera in the raw files is completely different. Authenticity is key, and it helps people connect with you more. Number four is called the reciprocity bank. Now, you know the feeling when somebody gives you an unexpected gift. You tend to have that feeling to want to do something for them. That is reciprocity. Now, when I'm saying all of these things, I recommend that you're doing them in a genuine way and not fake. And the reason why is because they are receiving a gift, and yes, it's got your information on it, and they're more likely to call you than just if you go and hand out a flyer. It's the urge to give back when you are given to. Another example of this is when you go to a restaurant and when they give you the bill, they put some chocolate or some candy inside of it. You tend to want to give back to the person who's just given something to you. The fifth psychology hack is called the cocktail party effect. Now, I want you to think about when you are at a party or when you're at a networking event. You're meeting many, many people, but the question is, how do you stand out and actually be remembered? Well, this effect is basically by using somebody's name. And so in order to stand out, where I recommend using this, one is when you meet somebody and you are introduced to them or they introduce themselves to you, use their name, confirm with them after they say it to you. Hi, my name is John. John, nice to meet you. I'm Carys. They will like the sound of you saying their name, but also it allows you to remember it more in your head because you verbally said it. Then throughout the conversation, you can drop in their name every once in a while. Oh, John, that was a great point. Then when you leave the conversation, okay, John, it was great to meet you. Hope that we can connect another time. Use their name. People love the sound of it. They feel like they know you more, they feel like they like you more, and they feel like they trust you more as well. Number 6 is to mirror and match. Now this goes for body language, it goes to tone, it goes to pitch, it goes to pace. Many different things tie into mirror and matching. But the reason why is because people like people who are like them. Now imagine this scenario. You are a very chilled out person. You talk quite deep. You're quite slow with how you talk. You're a bit more of an introvert. And you then go to a networking event and someone comes up to you to connect. However, they are super high energy. They're talking really high pitch. They're talking really loud. Their body language is completely different. They're trying to hug you and it's the first time you've met. You will feel uncomfortable. And that is because the person is not acting like you. Now, I'm not saying to use this in every situation. You don't need to go and try and mirror and match your mother or your best friend. There are certain situations, however, where you do need to connect with people more. Business opportunities, networking, meetings. When you're trying to connect with somebody for the first time, you want to mirror and match their body language. See how their legs are positioned. See what they're doing with their arms. Never, ever cross your arms unless somebody else has done it before you. It gives closed off energy. If someone's talking a little bit faster or a little bit slower, just try to match their pace a little bit. Make it natural and make it organic and use it in the situations that it would call for it. The 7th psychology hack is to stop oversharing when you first meet somebody. Oftentimes people think that when they meet somebody for the first time that it's good to share all of these things because it allows them to connect with you more. It's you being vulnerable, it's you being open, but really often it can give off that you are just unloading on them. Now, when you meet somebody for the first time, yes, you want to share certain things about you. Yes, if they ask you questions, you can answer them, but don't give off too much of the inside. Don't show your cards too quickly. Oftentimes, if you overshare too much, especially the first time you meet somebody, it will just freak them out. Number 8 is the door in the face technique. Now, I have used this in my many years of sales, and to be honest, it's genius. This is a persuasive strategy whereby you put out a large and potentially unreasonable request first, followed by a smaller, more reasonable option. The reason why it's called the door in the face technique is because your first option tends to be a little bit outlandish, that it's like a door in their face. And this technique works very well, but what is crazy is that there is a rare occasion that the person will actually accept the first large, outlandish, and potentially unreasonable request. They want that one because they want the best, they want the highest, and that's the package they want. However, what it tends to lead to is that people will choose that second option because it seems nowhere near as big or expensive as the first one that you suggested. Okay, number 9 is called the Benjamin Franklin effect. This is where asking small favors from somebody will actually lead for them to like you more. Now, I'm not saying to ask some large, crazy favors. These are small things, like small. Asking to borrow a pen, asking for someone to pass you the flyer that's closer to them. It could also be asking somebody's advice or opinion on something. Something small though, because obviously you don't want to ask somebody's opinion or advice on something that's, you know, a large thing. Small, something small. It shows that you value them. It shows that you want to have their expertise. It shows that you need their help for something, and it will boost their self-esteem. I say again, be genuine. It just creates opportunities for a deeper connection with people. The last one is one that I also have used a lot in sales, and that is the illusion of choice. Now, this works great in real estate, and that's because the illusion of choice is where you don't ask, when are you available next for a meeting? No, you're saying, I'm available tomorrow at 5 or Wednesday at 11. What works best for you? They are much more likely to either accept one of those or give you another option if those don't actually work than they are to decline, compared to when you ask, when are you available? They typically will come back with, oh, I'm busy. I've got too much going on. Call me next week. Give them the illusion of choice. 2 choices, no more. 2 choices, and allow for them to pick one of them. If neither of those work and they don't give you another option, then you give them one more option. Also, side tip here, if you're ever using this, I tend to give the 2 options, one being in the morning and one being in the afternoon, because they're more likely to accept one of them depending on when their work schedule is. Now, all of these psychology hacks are all about understanding how our brains work better so that you can do a better job with connecting with people more. It's all a game. You just need to learn how to play it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to know which one of these stood out to you. Drop it down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.